Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, May the 13th, the year 2013, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you had a nice Mother's Day. Hope you caught some of the games over the weekend. I want to start in the NHL because we are going to have two big Game 7s tonight because yesterday at Madison Square Garden, the New York Rangers beat the Washington Capitals 1-0. So there will be a Game 7 tonight in Washington, and Game 7s are as good as they can get. How good was Henrik Lundqvist yesterday? Lundqvist saved the day for the Rangers, making big saves left and right in the third period down the stretch. Lundqvist was absolutely huge for the Rangers as the Rangers have battled back to tie the series. Remember, Washington was up 2-0. Rangers battled back to make it 2-2. Then Washington went up 3-2 with a big overtime win on Friday night. And the Rangers bounced back yesterday and beat the Capitals 1-0 in a tremendous hockey game. As exciting as it gets, back and forth play left and right. Lundqvist stole the game. He was absolutely huge in net for the Rangers. He's going to have to be even bigger in net tonight if the Rangers are to pull off the upset in Washington. Now, I still think the Capitals are favored here. They are home. It's Game 7 in their building. You have to favor Washington. But with Lundqvist, the Rangers have a good shot of pulling the upset. Also remember, the pressure is now on Washington. And Washington, they've had a lot of bad losses in their history. Washington's lost a lot of big games, lost a lot of big series. So the pressure is squarely on the Capitals and Ovechkin to come through tonight. Should be a fabulous game tonight. Does it get any better than Game 7 in the NHL? I mean, just fabulous, fabulous stuff tonight. And we don't just get one Game 7. We get two Game 7s tonight because last night Toronto at home in Toronto beat Boston 2-1 to send that series to a Game 7. I never thought that was going to happen. Boston had a commanding 3-1 lead. I mean, they had beaten Toronto in Game 4. Looked like a heartbreaking loss for Toronto. Looked like they were done in Game 4. And then they come back. They beat Boston in Boston to make it 3-2. And then last night they went in Toronto to make it 3-3. So tonight, Game 7 back in Boston. I never thought this series was going 7. Thought Toronto was out of it when they were down 3-1. Give them all sorts of credit for coming back in this series. Got to favor Boston just like you got to favor Washington. The home ice to me does mean something. I know these Game 7s can go either way. Anything can happen. I give Boston a slight edge. They are at home. I think they are the better team. But momentum clearly on Toronto's side. They've won 2 in a row. Pressure is definitely on Boston performing in front of the home folks. Should be two fabulous Game 7s tonight. Rangers at Washington, Toronto at Boston. Should be fabulous, fabulous hockey tonight. Please watch both of those games if you can. Also last night in the NHL, the Detroit Red Wings beat the Anaheim Ducks in Anaheim 3-2. The Red Wings win the series 4-3. I mean, the Red Wings were down 1-0 in this series. They were down 2-1 in this series. They were down 3-2 in this series. They kept coming back. Anaheim couldn't put them away. It's funny, after I think it was Game 3 when Anaheim won 5-0 in Detroit, I'm like, wow, Anaheim's going to win this series. This is not a great Detroit team. They still have some stars, but it's not a vintage Detroit team. Anaheim's a deep team, had a really nice year, and Detroit kept coming back. Anaheim couldn't put them away, and Detroit gets the win last night in Anaheim. Tremendous job by the Red Wings getting out of this series. Got to be a bitter pill for the Ducks to swallow. I mean, the Ducks had a surprising year this year, played really nice hockey. They finished as the 2 seed, had home ice in this series, were leading, like I said, 3 different times in this series, had Game 7 in their building, and Detroit went in there and beat them. Has to be a bitter pill for the Anaheim Ducks to swallow, but give Detroit all sorts of credit for winning this series. Tremendous job by the Red Wings. Also over the weekend, the LA Kings beat St. Louis, so LA won that series 4-2. St. Louis won the first 2 games of the series, and LA showed their championship grit and won 4 games in a row over a tough St. Louis team. St. Louis is no pushover, and LA beat them 4 straight. You can see why LA won the Cup last year. They are a gritty, really good team, good goaltending. Really, really nice team, LA. Tremendous job winning 4 straight over a nice St. Louis team. Also over the weekend, the Penguins did beat the Islanders. Penguins win the series 4-2. Beat the Islanders at the Coliseum on Saturday night in overtime. A game the Islanders dominated most of the play. I thought the Islanders were the better team on Saturday. Penguins did pull it out, so give the Penguins credit for getting out of that series. Islanders had a nice year. They made the playoffs. They're back to being relevant again. Tavares is a star. Need to get their goalie situation straightened out because Navakov was terrible. We'll see if Thomas plays next year. He'd be a nice addition to the Islanders. Islanders are moving in the right direction. They're going to be in Brooklyn in a couple years. That can only help them getting out of the Coliseum. Overall, nice year by the Islanders. Played a good series. Probably deserved better in Game 6. Penguins have to play better going forward. They just have to. Looks like Vokoun will be in net the rest of the way. I mean, at least that's the way it looks to me. Can't trust Fleury. He had a mental breakdown. Can't trust him. He hasn't been the same since the Penguins won the Cup. Got to go with Vokoun. Vokoun was solid in the 2 games he played. The Penguins won both. Got to go with Vokoun, but the Penguins have to play better. They cannot play like this going forward. They will not win the Cup playing like this. So Penguins do get out of the first round. Pittsburgh now will play Ottawa in the second round. That should be a tremendous series. A lot of bad blood between those teams. So that should be a really nice series. Ottawa, gritty, gutty, defensive team. Overcame a lot of injuries this year. Has spectacular goaltending. And like I said, they have no love loss for the Penguins at all. Detroit will now play Chicago. That's a tough test for Detroit. I mean, Detroit now has to beat Chicago after they just beat the number 2 seed Anaheim. Now they got to beat the top seed Chicago. I'm going to go with Chicago there, but Detroit proved me wrong in the first round, so who knows. And also San Jose now will play at LA. Nice little rivalry there. Northern California versus Southern California, so that's a nice series as well. And the other matchups will be determined tonight. The winner of tonight's 2 games will play each other. It could be anybody. Who knows? It could be Boston, Washington. It could be the Rangers, Toronto. It could be any sort of combination. But tonight is must-watch hockey. Rangers, Washington, and Toronto, Boston is must-watch hockey today. There is nothing better than Game 7 in the NHL. Spectacular night as far as hockey tonight. Should be wild and woolly tonight. All right, so that was your NHL over the weekend. As far as your NBA, let me just say this about the NBA. Can the NBA spread out their games anymore? I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, the Knicks played last Tuesday, Game 2. Then they played Game 3, 4 days later on Saturday. Now they don't play, Game 4 till Tuesday, 3 days later. I mean, it's just ridiculous, the span they do these games. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, Knicks have 4 days off, then 3 days off. It's just ridiculous. There's no flow to this series at all. Anyway, in Game 3, Indiana beat the Knicks in Indiana. Indiana goes up 2-1. Indiana did a really nice job here shutting the Knicks down. I mean, and other than Carmelo Anthony, can anyone score on the Knicks? I mean, J.R. Smith now is sick. Martin is sick. We'll keep an eye on that. I mean, Felton can be up and down. The Knicks need another consistent scorer to go with Carmelo. He can't do it all by himself. Indiana is a very good defensive team. They're focusing on Carmelo. Other people like J.R. Smith, Felton, those guys got to step up and help Carmelo, or the Knicks are not going to win this series. I still have faith in the Knicks. I still think they can win this series. They do, they have Game 7 at the Garden if it goes that far. This next game tomorrow night is huge, though. Knicks cannot afford to go down 3-1. I thought Indiana would miss Granger with his scoring. So far they've gotten over that. They're playing good defensive ball. They're getting balanced scoring. We'll see if Indiana can keep it up. Indiana did look really good in Game 3. Tomorrow night's game is a huge game. I mean, that's the difference between 2-2 and the Knicks getting home court back, or Indiana going up 3-1 and having a commanding lead. Tomorrow night's game, huge. And like I said, do we need 3-4 days off in between these games? It's ridiculous. I mean, they played Game 2 last Tuesday. They have 4 days off till Game 3. Now they have another 3 days off till Game 4. Way too much spacing here in the NBA. They got to do something about that. That's a terrible job by the NBA. So Indiana up 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow in Indiana. Also over the weekend, Miami beat Chicago at Chicago. Miami is up 2-1. This was a close game. Miami kind of pulled pulled away at the end. I would expect Miami to get through this series. I don't think it's going to go 7. Chicago is amazing with the effort they give you. Multiple guys out, Rose out, Heinrich out, Dang sick. They still hang in these games. Noah's playing hurt. Even against the Heat, they're giving them all they can handle. I still think the Heat are going to be too much for them. I think the Heat are going to win, most of these games like they did in Game 3. They're going to kind of pull away at the end. So that series is 2-1 Miami right now. Also, Memphis beat Oklahoma City in Game 3 at Memphis. Memphis is now up 2-1 with Game 4 in their building. Oklahoma City is not the same team without Westbrook. They're just not. They're very vulnerable without him. Memphis can definitely win this series. This is another huge game, this Game 4 coming up, just like the Knicks series. If Memphis goes up 3-1, they are in the driver's seat. Oklahoma City gets Game 4. They get home court back. Big picture for Oklahoma City, though, I don't think they can win a title without Westbrook. They're going to be lucky to get through this series without Westbrook. Memphis has a real shot at winning this series. Also over the weekend, Golden State and San Antonio split their games in Golden State, so that series is 2-2. The Spurs won on Friday night in Golden State. Spurs look really good. Remember, Golden State carried much of the play in the first 2 games in San Antonio. They split there. They could have easily won 2. They come back home, Golden State, and San Antonio really played well on Friday. Got the win. It was up 2-1 in the series. And yesterday, San Antonio led big early. Golden State comes back. They get it to overtime, and Golden State dominates the overtime. Golden State evens up the series 2-2. This is a very, very even series. San Antonio still the edge to me. They still have home court. Game 5 is in their building. Goes to Game 7. Game 7 is in their building. Still give the edge to the Spurs, but Golden State is giving them all they can handle. I mean, playing really, really nice ball, Golden State. And the fans in Oakland, I mentioned this last week, the fans in Oakland are to die for. I mean, they are all dressed in gold. They are going crazy all the time. Tremendous fans in Oakland. Remember, Golden State in a couple years will be moving across the bay to San Francisco. I wonder if they're going to have the same crowd when they go to San Francisco. I hope so, because that crowd in Oakland is tremendous. So that was kind of some of your doings in the NBA over the weekend. As far as your Major League Baseball over the weekend, let's run through the series real quick. The Cubs beat Washington 2 out of 3. Strasburg is 1-5 for Washington. He does have a good earned run average, but he's still 1-5. And the Cubs beat Washington 2 out of 3 in Washington. Washington's got to play better ball than this. I thought Washington would be flying. I thought they're one of the best teams in baseball. Little disappointed in Washington so far. Now, there's a long way to go. I expect them to be there in the end. So far, disappointed. They lose 2 out of 3 at home to the Cubbies. Cleveland went into Detroit and beat the Tigers 2 out of 3. Cleveland continues to play good ball. How good of a manager is Francona? I mean, just a tremendous manager. Cleveland 2 out of 3 in Detroit. Cleveland playing really nice baseball out of the blue. I didn't see this coming. Also, Toronto went into Boston and beat Boston 2 out of 3. We'll see if Toronto can put anything together. They have dug themselves a really, really big hole. See if they can get out of it. Nice start, 2 out of 3 in Boston. Cincinnati swept Milwaukee. Can you figure out Milwaukee? They couldn't win a game the first 2 weeks. Then they couldn't lose for 2 weeks. Now they can't win again for another week or 2. Milwaukee up and down the swings. Just, I mean, highs and lows with Milwaukee. Cincinnati, a solid team. Pittsburgh beat the Mets 3 out of 4. Pittsburgh lost the first game of this series, but won the next 3 games. Going to be a long year for the Mets. We know that. The Mets are going nowhere this year. They got some good young pitching with Harvey. They got Wheeler in the minors. They got Neese. They're going to build around that for the future. Going to be a long year for the Mets. Pittsburgh looks like a decent team. They were decent last year to a point, then they fell apart. We'll see if they can keep it up this year. Also, Tampa Bay swept San Diego. San Diego actually came into this series playing well, but Tampa Bay dusted them. Tampa Bay needed a series like this. Tampa Bay was stumbling and bumbling, so this was a good sweep for Tampa Bay. The Angels took 2 of 3 from the White Sox over the weekend. The White Sox did salvage a game last night. We'll see if the Angels could start winning some series. They finally win a series here. They've won 3 or 4. We'll see if the Angels can put something together, because they're another team. Like Toronto, dug themselves a huge hole. We'll see if they can dig out of it. Yankees went into Kansas City and swept the Royals, and the Royals are not bad this year. Nice job by the Yankees overall. They're really holding the fort. They have a tremendous amount of injuries. I mean, still no Teixeira, Granderson, no Jeter. The list goes on and on and on, yet the Yankees are hanging right in there. Sweep a decent Kansas City team over the weekend. Baltimore took 2 out of 3 at Minnesota. Baltimore continues to play good baseball. Nice job by Buck Showalter. How about Chris Chris Davis. Chris Davis has 11 home runs. This is a guy a few years ago that couldn't hit more than 15 home runs, couldn't bat over 200. Now this guy's a perennial home run hitter, so nice job by the Orioles. Minnesota's a little better this year. They were dreadful last year, a little more competitive this year. Texas went into Houston and swept the Astros. Listen, the Astros, they're one of the worst teams in baseball, if not the worst. They're just a horrendous, horrendous team. Texas had their way with them. I mean, it's night and day, the talent level here. Texas is really good. Houston is really bad. Texas sweeps Houston over the weekend. St. Louis took 2 of 3 from the Colorado Rockies. First 2 games, actually St. Louis pitched 2 shutouts in the first 2 games. Colorado salvaged the game in Game 3. St. Louis continues to get great pitching. I mean, St. Louis is pitching lights out this year, doing a really nice job there pitching staff. Colorado's got a decent ball club. But St. Louis takes 2 out of 3 over the weekend. Philadelphia and Arizona had a 4-game set. They actually split. Phillies actually pulled one out of the fire yesterday to get a split. Phillies are down 2-0 in the 9th inning last night, looking at losing 3 out of 4 to Arizona. Philly gets 2 in the 9th, wins in an extra inning, so Philly salvages a game yesterday and gets the split. So that was a decent job by the Phillies getting out of town with the split. Arizona, you got to feel like you let one get away here. You got to feel like you had Philly down, could have beat them 3 out of 4, let one slip away. So the split there for both teams. Arizona, very disappointing split. They got to feel like they should have won 3 out of 4. Philadelphia, I still don't know what to make of Philadelphia. I don't want to write them off because they got Hamels and Lee. Who knows about Holiday coming back? You still got Howard, Utley, and Rollins. I like Philly's team. I like what they've done in the past. They always make a run. I don't know if this is going to be their year, though. Atlanta and Washington, tough division. I don't want to write Philly off, but they're so inconsistent this year, and they're more bad than good this year. But Philly and Arizona split the 4-game set. Seattle beat Oakland 2 out of 3 in Seattle over the weekend. You know, Seattle's actually starting to creep close to 500, and Oakland is dipping. Oakland started off really strong this year. They are not playing good baseball at all, and I like Oakland's team. I think they have a nice team, but they have played lousy for a few weeks now. Seattle, keep an eye on them. They're inching towards 500. They can pitch. Can they hit enough? Also over the weekend, San Francisco took 3 out of 4 from Atlanta, so nice job by the Giants, especially since they dropped the first game in that series. They come roaring back, win 3 out of 4. I mean, the Giants do it every year. Pitching, they always play well at home. The Giants have won, a couple of the, World Series in the last few years. Giants always a contender with that pitching. So nice job by San Francisco winning 3 in a row over Atlanta after dropping the first game. And finally, the Dodgers beat Miami 2 out of 3. The Dodgers actually lost the first game of this series. That made it 8 in a row the Dodgers had lost. They do come back, win 2 out of 3 from Miami. We'll see if the Dodgers can put anything together. They have good news this week. Greinke, I think, will be back this week. We'll see if getting him back, turns the light bulb on for the Dodgers. Maybe, they start to play better. They were playing better early in the year when they had a healthy Greinke. When he went out, the Dodgers fell apart. They get him back. Let's see if they can turn it around now. They still have time, but they, like other teams, like Toronto, like the Angels, have dug themselves a big hole. Dodgers do take 2 or 3 from Miami over the weekend. Also in the golf, Tiger Woods that won the Players' Championship. Tiger Woods playing really nice golf this year. We'll see if he can get a major. There's 3 majors left. Remember, he lost the Masters after he took that penalty, even though he did play well in the Masters. Tiger Woods has played really good golf, but it's all about majors with him. Remember, he's chasing Jack Nicklaus. 3 majors to go over the summer. We'll see if Tiger can get one of those majors. He's certainly a contender. I mean, he is playing really nice golf. Him and Sergio Garcia were going at it over the weekend. They were quibbling back and forth. Tiger wins. Sergio Garcia falls apart at the end. So nice job by Tiger Woods. Also, I caught a little tennis over the weekend. I watched Serena Williams beat Sharapova again. Serena Williams has Sharapova's number. I mean, Serena Williams has beaten Sharapova like 15 straight times. Serena Williams, unbelievably at her age, back to the #1 player in the world. Tremendous job by Serena Williams. I also watched Nadal win over the weekend as well. What a shock. It's the same, few players in men's tennis that win every tournament. I mean, now Federer looks like he's just about done. Andy Murray hasn't been playing well. Novak's hurt. Now it's Nadal again. And Nadal missed basically, how many months with an injury? Like 6 months he was out in an injury. It's the same few players. Men's tennis needs new blood in the worst way. I mean, I can't stand like the same group of like 4 people winning every tournament. I mean, it gets monotonous after a while. So Nadal wins, and he'll be ready for the French Open coming up soon. All right, as far as tonight, Monday, what to watch? NHL tonight. NHL tonight, 2 big Game 7s. You got the Rangers at the Capitals, Game 7. Must-watch TV. Doesn't get any better than that. And Toronto at Boston, Game 7. I mean, equally as good. 2 big Game 7s here. Fabulous hockey night. You get 2 Game 7s. I mean, we would sign for 1 Game 7 tonight. We get 2 big Game 7s. I'm going to go with Washington and Boston tonight, but in Game 7, who knows? Anything can happen. And I'm just going to pick Washington and Boston just because they're home. But I can see anything happen in these games. So must watch NHL tonight. NBA tonight, you do have a doubleheader. You have Miami at Chicago. That's Game 4. We'll see if Miami takes a commanding 3-1 lead in the series or Chicago somehow ties it up. I mean, Chicago's been battling through these whole playoffs. We'll see if they can get it done again tonight. Not an easy task, though. We'll see who plays for Chicago with all these injuries and illness. The late game tonight in the NBA, Oklahoma City at Memphis. Memphis up 2-1. I mean, same scenario as the Chicago series. I mean, we'll see if Memphis can go up 3-1 or Oklahoma City can tie 2-2. Now, Memphis is home here, so I give Memphis a good shot at going up 3-1. Oklahoma City, not the same team without Westbrook. Very, very vulnerable. But they have Durant. He can go off for 50 at any night. Should be really nice basketball tonight as well. So NHL and NBA, really nice tonight, although I would focus more on the NHL because those are the Game 7s. As far as your Major League Baseball series tonight, Yankees and Cleveland have a double dip in the afternoon, so you'll have Yankee-Cleveland baseball from like 12 noon into the nighttime tonight. Mets at St. Louis, mismatch on paper. Milwaukee at Pittsburgh. You know, Pittsburgh can never beat Milwaukee at Milwaukee. We'll see if they can beat them at Pittsburgh. Houston at Detroit. Good luck, Houston. Colorado at the Cubs at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. White Sox at Minnesota. White Sox don't look like a good team at all. Atlanta at Arizona, very nice series. Kansas City at the Angels. That's a decent series. We'll see if the Angels can start putting something together. Texas at Oakland. Oakland's got to start playing better ball. Really bad couple of weeks for Oakland. We know Texas is a good team. And Washington at the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers, let's see. Let's see if they can put something together. They have a tough Washington team coming into their building. Let's see if they can turn it around. And Washington, they got to start playing better ball. I mean, they haven't been playing great. I mean, they just lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs in Washington. That's not a good sign. I mean, it got to get Strasburg winning some games. 1-5. I mean, I know his earned run average is good. He's not getting much run support, but come on, 1-5. He's better than that. Washington's better than this, so we'll keep an eye on the Washington Dodgers series as well. So there you go. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. You know what to watch tonight. 2 big Game 7s in the NHL. You want to sprinkle in a little NBA. Keep your eye on Major League Baseball. Tremendous sports night for a Monday night. I mean, absolutely tremendous sports night. We will recap it all tomorrow, Tuesday. You guys, thanks for the support. You guys stay safe. Enjoy the games tonight. I'm sure you will. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, Tuesday. Take care.